Now, on this entire coverage of the Cup of Dreams here on Firstpost, we've been giving you a 360-degree perspective of different aspects of the Indian team. And rightfully so, they have been the most dominant side in this World Cup. And they've outplayed almost every opponent here, whether it's their fiery bowling unit or their batters who've been piling on runs just for fun. But we're here at the City of Dreams, and today we need to speak about one man who's had a bit of a dream run. The captain of the Indian cricket team, the man who's wearing the crown of thorns, Rohit Sharma. He's a local boy and rightfully so owns this particular city. Now, when we speak about Rohit Sharma, there are a couple of aspects to him. One, of course, is his captaincy. There's a bit of a laid-back nature to Rohit, the captain. He seems unperturbed by what's happening around him, and that sort of translates to the entire team as well. And it also is significant going by the choices he makes, and he seems to back them. For example, giving Shreyas Iyer the kind of run that he's got. Despite lack of form, despite inconsistent knocks and coming back from injury, he persisted with Shreyas and it's paid off. That's the art of captaincy that he's brought to it. And the different tactics, the strategies that he's employed, we'll speak about that too. And the other aspect, which has been a bit of a revelation for us and we've enjoyed it so much, Rohit, the batter. Now, we know him to be the hitman of sorts. We saw it in the 2019 World Cup. But this edition, we've seen him play a different sort of a role. We'll highlight that aspect as well. A World Cup at home is different. A World Cup in India is not like any other World Cup. There is immense pressure on the Indian team because there's a hope of 1 billion people just following those 11 men that take the fields every single time. So while venues and stadiums get sold out and it's jam-packed with hordes of supporters cheering you on, all that comes with that rider of expectation and a constant reminder that India hasn't won an ODI World Cup since 2011. Hasn't won an ICC tournament since 2013. Rohit doesn't have an ICC World Cup to his name, an ICC ODI World Cup to his name. And there is that awareness. So while there is hunger and passion to achieve that dream, to resort to all those chants that keep saying, bring back that World Cup trophy, there is that keenness without desperation. So while Rohit Sharma at that very first press conference of the World Cup tournament says there is unfinished business, he follows it up calmly by saying, it'll be nice to win a World Cup. That's what the Mumbai-ness in him that comes through. There isn't that I am the decision maker, the captain of the team that comes through. It's softened by all the humor, the wit, the casualness that he brings in all of his press conferences. So yes, while there is an eye on the future, he's very much focused on the present.
You know, you want to win the World Cup. It's the biggest prize that you can have in your career. But again, there's a way to do it. There's a procedure that you need to follow. The method in the madness, if you may. You cannot get way too ahead of yourself because that can lead into something that you don't really wish for. And then obviously, we have to leave a lot of things to the Almighty because we need that little bit of luck in the tournament. I hope we get that. But yeah, it'll be nice to win a World Cup.
Now, whenever we speak about Mumbai or even visit it, or even think about it, there's one thing that comes to mind immediately about how it's very fast-paced, it's buzzing, it's active. The city is alive 24/7. There's a lot of fast foods like the vada pav. But there's no time to savor it because everyone is constantly on the move. It's a city that's of unparalleled speed. People are moving from point A to point B. They're always trying to hustle and bustle and get to the next destination on time. That's pretty much what the city characterizes. But it's a very large-hearted city, pretty much like Rohit Sharma. It reflects in his captaincy. He believes in being diligent, in doing his homework to the T. He believes in being tactical, in being strategic. He has that big brother nature about him as well, when you see how he interacts with the rest in his team. And how he indulges them as well once in a while. For example, it could be a decision review that Jadeja or Siraj is cajoling him to take, and he good-naturedly humors them even if he probably doesn't believe in that so. But It might sort of remind you a bit about MS Dhoni, but he brings his own sort of spin and character to captaincy and leadership. We've seen it in the Mumbai Indians franchise, and he's been very successful too. He's taken them to 5 IPL wins. That is immense. He brings a lot of those calmness without being dramatic or the drama associated with it. And there are instances where it's his game awareness that's been the result of India performing at the plane that it is in, at another level completely in this tournament. He encourages the bowlers. He gives them confidence, especially when they're having a rough day. Now, I'll give you a few instances, especially from this World Cup. We'll talk about one first. India versus Pakistan in Ahmedabad. The men in green are off to a decent start, 150 for 2. Babar Azam has just scored his 50 and Mohammad Rizwan is looking good in his company too. What does Rohit Sharma do? He brings back Mohammad Siraj who was leaking runs till that point. And you see him dismissing Babar Azam. What did that do? That was critical, because right after that, you saw the entire Pakistan lineup fold for 191. It was crucial, that bowling change. And we saw another example of it in Eden Gardens against South Africa, against that famed batting lineup. It was the same match which I witnessed where Virat Kohli scored his 49th ODI ton. And you, of course, had India scoring 326. In response, we know the track had something in it, had quite a bit in it for spinners. What does Rohit do? He brings in Jadeja in the power play overs. And you immediately had a result there. Within the third delivery, Jadeja struck, and that triggered yet another collapse. And we've seen that killer instinct in Rohit Sharma throughout this tournament. That's the perfect mix, his laid-back nature, but with that instinct to close games, to create changes, to make impactful decisions tactically on the field. Whether it's in fielding positions, whether it's in bowling changes, or just giving those bowlers that extra bit of motivation. That's what has been a hallmark of his captaincy in this tournament.
Make no mistake, Rohit is also very aggressive. I think sometimes we tend to, look at people's body language and we can't get enough of their mindset. Rohit is as aggressive as any captain you would want. He's aggressive with his bowling moves. If you see the other day when Siraj was bowling, what fields he had. I mean, that shows the kind of aggression he's got.
Now, you can't speak about Mumbai and cricket and not talk about the Maidans. That's what forms the heart of cricket here in Mumbai. I've got about 5 matches going on behind me, and it's all happening in one massive ground. All these young boys dressed in whites, and to an onlooker, it can be a little confusing there because you don't know which players are involved in which game, because you've got 4 or 5 happening there behind me. There's one that's on a break, probably an innings break at this point. And if you blink, you might just get hit as well. You've got to be a little careful. But jokes apart, this is the breeding ground. This is where all young lads come in with a passion for the sport. And it's resulted in some legends coming through right from these Maidans, like a Sachin Tendulkar. If you look at the current Indian team, someone like Rohit Sharma, Shreyas Iyer, Shardul Thakur, Surya Kumar Yadav, all possibly spent their times at the Maidans here in the city. This is where unbridled passion comes with the lack of infrastructure, and that's the starting point. And if you have passion coupled with talent, skill, intent, aggression, you have a product like Rohit Sharma. Now, someone like him always was known for those big hundreds, those big individual scores. He's made most of the double hundreds for India on the international circuit. And there's a reason for that. We saw how he performed in the 2019 World Cup. He had 5 centuries there. You know that because that was his approach, that was his intent, to make big knocks, to make big contributions. But this World Cup, there's been a different approach. You know that the partnership, the opening partnership with Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill has been spot on. They have been aggressive from the get-go. And the indication for that, Rohit Sharma's power play strike rate in this particular World Cup is much more at 130 compared to his ODI strike rate overall as well. That tells you a story because his approach as well has been different this time around. Why? An absence of someone like a Rishabh Pant lower down the order to give that big firepower towards the end. And even later on, someone like a Hardik Pandya, who was absent, has made Rohit Sharma take on that attacking instinct, take on that role of an attacker. And that has resulted in a lot of selfless batting, which has only helped the Indian batting lineup. We'll give you a few instances. Number 1, India against England. It was a very tricky pitch to bat on. India was struggling at 40 for 3. The attacker that Rohit Sharma has been in this tournament took a bit of a backseat there, steadied the ship, played the senior hand to then get India to a respectable total, which they successfully ended up defending to. But then you cut to a match like India against Bangladesh or India against South Africa, where it was a quick-fire cameo at the top of 40 plus. But that was important because what Rohit did was just unsettle the most key bowlers in that opposition lineup with that fiery performance at the top. So he's not going for those big hundreds. He's not going for those record-breaking performances. He's looking at giving that aggressive instinct, that aggressive start at the top to completely unsettle the opposition right from the get-go. That's been his approach, and what a selfless approach it's been. A different avatar that we have seen Rohit Sharma in. We spoke about Rohit, the mature captain, just some time back. This is the mature batter that we see of Rohit in this particular tournament, and that's really spoken volumes. It's helped the other batters play to their roles, perform the roles given to them. He's taken the onus of going on the offensive so that the rest can play freely, steady the ship and try and settle their nerves and get to steady the innings and anchor the innings for India. That's what we've seen. And come this semi-final, India versus New Zealand, you can expect the entire crowd to back their captain, their homeboy, for such an equally important performance in a semi-final as well. It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny. But for many, it's been heartbreaks and a cross to bear. The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupha Ramani, and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams. Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.